Unfiltered.
Hello there, welcome to Unfiltered with Amos Fenwa. This is a podcast that I've been coming up to educate, inform, instruct people on how to hear the voice of God. A lot of people get confused about hearing the voice of God. You hear people say that something tell me. You hear people say that my mind, my spirit. And that is why we've designed this podcast to be able to help you understand some of those things. And in the past, a lot of people have come around and they have enjoyed themselves. People have reached out to us from all over the world and are telling us how these podcasts have been a blessing to them. I mean, I walk up to so many people who walk up to me in a place and we say, wow, Pastor Amos, what you are sharing right now is helping me to really understand how God speaks to people. Today on this podcast, I have with me the ageless, my etiquette coach. This woman, whenever I'm around her, I'm always in my best behavior in time of my attitude, the way I talk, the way I carry myself, because I'm an etiquette coach. And she's been a blessing. And she promised today that she's going to come and ask me questions. So I want to welcome with me today, Joanna Adeyileka. God bless you, man.
Thank you, sir. Lovely to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah. How's life been?
Oh, well, we keep busy, of course.
Yeah.
And life right now, particularly in Nigeria, is a real challenge.
Yeah.
You know, everything is so expensive. People are agitated, getting very angry easily. So it's at this point in time we need our God.
Yeah.
You know, we need God in our life.
I also think that it's not only in Nigeria, because people in America and all over the world are also crying all over the world. I just think that what the world needs now is to be more closer to God than ever before. I watch over the years. I mean, recently you celebrate your birthday. And when people hear about your age, they are shocked. How can this woman be this age and she's looking like this? I think you're going to tell us your secret one day. Maybe not on this podcast. Maybe in another podcast. I mean, somebody watching from home right now, you can be looking at her and say, well, what would be her age? Go to the comment section and ask. Maybe I will answer you. It's going to be wonderful.
Well, I'll keep it a secret. So.
Okay. That's good.
So when I was invited, I had so many questions that I had to ask you, but I must have had about 25 questions.
My God.
I had to filter it to about 5 questions.
That's good.
I had to write them in my phone so I actually don't forget.
Yeah.
So can I go ahead and
yes, I'm ready.
Okay. When you are giving a word of knowledge in church, and the word of knowledge might be quite embarrassing for some people. Yeah. So I've heard you before when I've watched you in church, and I've noticed that, you know, sometimes you'll give a prophetic message about a private part of somebody's anatomy. Yeah. And if that person is reluctant to come out at that particular time, and they try and see you another time, can you still go back to that message in prophecy?
Of course, sometimes when that spirit come on you and you need to say things, it's better to say it out. Because he's saying you are creating. That's what you should know. You know, the whole world we are living in is framed by what we say. I mean, if a young man wants to date a girl, you need to say something. When you say it, word creates a seed and it turns to harvest. And that's why sometimes a prophet gives a word of knowledge, he's releasing something. Sometimes when maybe I'm ministering and I say, there's somebody in this gathering, God is healing you, this is your problem. As the word comes out, there are angels around to bring that thing into fruition. I remember a lady now, she's in Canada right now. One meeting in one of our churches, I believe should be Lekki Church in Ireland, and I gave a word of knowledge. There's a lady here, you are having what I call hormonal imbalance. Sometimes you don't see your period. The medical people call it PCOS, and your period may never come and you are still in your 20s. As I'm speaking right now, God is adjusting that thing. She gave a testimony that Exactly within 1 week, the period came, and the period started coming constantly. Amazing. Now, I think that word of knowledge, I wanted her to come out, but later I find out this may be embarrassing. She may not want people to know she's the one, but I stopped. But there are prophets that will see that you must come out.
Yeah.
As if they want to let the whole world know I'm not lying. But you see, you will get a level as a prophet where it is not about what people think about you. It's about how God wants you to do it.
Exactly. And possibly the prophet that comes to minister, they may never see them again.
Exactly. So that's very important.
Yes. Thank you so much for that. The second one, which I thought was interesting, is that sometimes you may give a man a prophecy that he's going to marry a tall, slim, dark lady.
Yeah.
But with all the body reconstruction that's going on these days, where people are doing the BBL, they're doing everything. And then more than that, you have the woman who used to be black that is now very yellow.
Yeah.
Would that woman be losing the opportunity of marrying the man that you have prophesied?
Probably, because one thing we must understand about how God created every human being is that when God is molding somebody, he has somebody in mind. That's why you discover that a lot of men that are very tall, they prefer a lady that is petite.
Yes.
Now, when you look at statistics, you see that many tall men, what I mean tall, I mean 6 feet men, 6.1 men, they want a lady that's petite. I don't know why. I remember one time a couple that tried to get married to each other came to see me for counseling. Now, when I saw the man is like 6.2.
Wow.
And this girl is like 5.3. And not only that she's short, she's also very small. And the first thing, when we were talking, I said this look like child abuse because they're actually my member. So I was able to be free to tell them. And the lady said, actually, I love men that are very tall. I feel protected when I see a man tall beside me. And I asked him, man, why do you like a lady that is very petite? Because a lot of men will tell you, I prefer a woman that has to have and to hold.
Oh, yeah.
So this day forward, they want her to have the back side very okay. They want her to have the front side very okay. And they said, oh, I love ladies that are very small. So sometimes we need to be careful, and women need to be careful not to alter the nature God has given to them. I know very well that there are men that what they look for is a dark-skinned lady.
Yeah.
That's what they look for.
Yes.
And I know that there are men that always like fair-skinned lady. And that is why it's very dangerous to be doing all this thing. I'm not saying that it's so bad for you to have some readjustments of your body parts. But I think people that design those things, because I have one of my member in the church who is into plastic surgery.
Yeah.
And I was asking him, why did you go to study plastic surgery? And I said that it's meant to correct accident. Plastic bonds, when you are bonds, is meant to correct squints in the face. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
But nowadays, even the people that are practicing it want to make money. So that's why they move into helping them correct things in their body. You see women that have maybe 4 or 5 children, and their stomach, they have a loose skin, and they wanted to take it out.
That's understandable.
Liposuction. But you also now see that some ladies they feel that they don't have the backside, and they wanted, because the world and the entire black people believe that the woman that have the backside is more beautiful. But the truth of the matter is that beauty is in the eyes of the beholder. Of course, there are 3 or 4 things people feel is like that, but I feel like we need to be very careful so that you won't miss the person that God has sent to you. Anyway, what connects people to people is not only body parts. It is also their purpose. I said to all my single, chemistry with compatibility make a good marriage.
Yeah.
So looks is important, but the real thing is chemistry. So women should be careful in trying not to accept themselves.
Yeah.
If you are black, please
comfortable.
make make it shine.
Exactly. So, and that's what I believe, that whatever God has blessed you with, you make the best of it.
Exactly.
Without reconstructing, unless if it's a medical condition. Exactly. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
The other question is, okay, you have somebody who has prayed and fasted for a particular high street position.
Yeah.
And they've prayed and they felt God had answered. So now they come to church and you bring that person out and tell them that have you applied for a job?
Yes.
You will get that job.
Yes.
Yes. The question is now, does that person still have to pray
to get
that job? Or is it a settled matter?
Okay, when you go back to the Bible, Paul was writing to his spiritual son Timothy that neglect not the gifts of God that is in you, that was released to you by the laying hands of presbytery. He now went forward and said, you should walk with the prophecy that you have received. So when prophecy comes to you, you still need to fight to get it fulfilled. Because there is something about receiving it and something about fulfilling it.
Yeah.
Now, to fulfill prophecy sometimes, there are prophecies that need condition, that you need to fight until you get it done. There are forces that will make sure what God has said does not come to pass. Now, it could be like attitude. It could be your way of life. Now, if God said to me, I'm going to be a rich man, a wealthy multi-billionaire, I don't have to sit down and make it come to pass. I need to work it out. I have a part to play. Now, if God says giving me a job, how many platforms have I put on my CV? When I'm having a job interview, am I fully prepared for that job interview? There are physical parts of making prophecy get fulfilled. When I get you back to the book of 1 Samuel, you will see in 1 Samuel chapter 17, you will see the story of Samuel, of David fighting Goliath.
Yeah.
Now, in that battle of Goliath, I can bring out some lessons from it. Number one, David came from a tribe that knew how to use sling. They use sling to kill animals. They already is well trained in using sling. And that's why he was able to use the same sling to kill Goliath. God needs something natural to bring supernatural come to pass. You know, they call it supernatural. So there's a natural before the super. And that's why every prophecy needs some work on our part to get it fulfilled. Let me give you an example. I have a friend who lives in Ghana. And one time he came to church and said to me, I'm going to buy a big house. And I was wondering, how am I going to get a big house? And at the time, the house was shown to me. I didn't have money. I have to go look for a loan to get a loan, get some money. I did a lot of work. What prophecy did for me is for me to know that is where I'm going. But getting it there is my prerequisite, is my work.
Yeah.
So many people will receive prophecy and they will sit down and say, it's going to come to pass. That's why many people don't see fulfillment.
Fulfilled. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's true. That's true. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir. Now, this one might sound funny.
Okay.
But there's a woman in the congregation who is looking for the fruit of the womb.
Yeah.
Right. And you say, lady, please come. And she comes to you. And you tell her that you saw an angel standing beside her.
Yeah.
And the angel has confirmed
Yeah.
that she's going to have a baby.
Yeah.
2 questions in one.
Yeah.
I want to ask you, first of all, do angels that you see have a gender?
Okay. Okay.
And then the second part, if I may ask you, is that when you're talking about the fruit of the womb, sometimes you actually declare the person is having 2 children.
Yeah.
Do you see an angel carrying 1, 2, or 3 babies?
Sometimes prophecy comes in different ways. There are what they call forensic prophecy. That means you can go deeper. There are prophecies that come like you are watching movie. There are some that come as if your mind is talking to you. So it depends. I've seen the cases where you see an angel. I've never think of angel as being a female or male. Angel has the power to transform to anything that mortal man will understand. So when they see them, and they will make sure that they are not frightening you. They have a tendency to make you get afraid. That's why you hear fear not. Every time angel is coming somewhere, the first word is what? Fear not. Because fear, natural man will always fear supernatural thing. So gender by angel may not be very, very common. Most times you just see. A lot of time when we say we see angel, it may not actually be an heavenly creature. It could be human being that will just be standing. In the spirit, we already know that. For example, if I'm praying for something in my dream and I see maybe referred man of God like W.F. Kumuyi, referred man of God like Father of Faith like Pastor E. Adeboye. If I see Pastor E. Adeboye in my dream praying for me, that is not Pastor E. Adeboye. The man of God may be in his camp, he's sleeping near Mama. But at that time, God needed to use something that I will understand, to depict an angel. I've seen my member telling me, Pastor, I saw you in my dream, you are praying for me. And I said, me, I'm just in my house, enjoying myself. So that is the way it works. You just see a creature of God, somebody, you can see the being just standing. Now, I went to minister this morning in a prayer meeting with a man of God. And as soon as I picked the microphones, I see somebody standing by the man of God. And the person was talking to me. He said, tell that man that I'm going to set up a prayer meeting for him in London. And I told him. And after the service, he came to me and said, you're actually right.
Wow.
I've been trying to connect in London. It's been very difficult. But your word now will make me to try again. So I was very happy. Okay, what I'm seeing is correct. That's the way it works.
Are you ever surprised by what you see?
A lot, every time. Every time I give a prophecy, I feel surprised and I feel happy. Yes, wow. So God can still use me like this? Because everything is supernatural.
Yeah.
Now, if you really is a gift of God that comes on you, you feel so surprised every time. Every time I've been prophesying, I always feel surprised. And I always feel fulfilled. I always feel happy. Yeah. Wow, thank you. You are using me. I just go back to my closet and I would need as a God. I'm a mortal man. I'm not even perfect. I made mistake. And you see, I remember in those days, my wife would ask me, how do you see these things? You know, it's very shocking for your own wife who knows you skin to skin to be shocked that God is using you. Are you with me?
Yes.
So that's the way I feel every time. I just say, God, thank you. So you can just show me things. I remember one time I went to minister for Redeemed Christian Church of God in a national conference. And I walked to a lady in the crowd. And an angel was guiding me. He said, follow me. I was following the angel. When he got to the lady, he said, this is the one. Lay hands on her. They have put something that will kill her. And that thing is in her breasts. So, and I said to her, lady, there is something you are dealing with. And that thing is in your breast. I want to kill you. Unknowingly to me, she's been diagnosed with breast cancer.
I think I saw
the testimony. Yeah, was a testimony.
Very good. Yeah.
Unknowingly to me, she's been diagnosed with cancer. And I brought her out. And they just told me, when she's out, you lay hands on her. I am here with my medical angel to do surgery on her in this meeting. And as I lay hands on her, she fell under the anointing as she was on the floor. And I asked them to leave her because I know the angel are perfecting the work. And by the time she went back to the hospital, they said something has shrunk the cancer. Because she's a medical person, she already planned a procedure and she still wants to go ahead. And when she got there, he said, what happened? And supernaturally, something has happened. Prophetic is good. And it's powerful.
And you said something that you are surprised sometimes, but I still believe in God qualifies the called, and you're a called man of God.
Yeah.
So definitely. I recall when you called me out in church, and my daughter had been married like 7 years.
Yes.
And you just called me out of the blue and said, my daughter will be pregnant this year. And, I accepted, of course, from a man of God like yourself. But when she actually became pregnant, before that year was out, I was amazed, absolutely amazed.
Yeah.
Prophecy is real. God's real.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, my last and final question to you is that I do marriage counseling.
Okay.
And many times couples come to me and I realize that I see a future conflict that may not be resolvable very easily.
Yeah.
So have you ever in your time prayed for a couple whereby you can see that the conflict from both the bride-to-be and the groom-to-be is so much that you would advise them
not to marry? Yes.
And how did they take that? And did they actually take to your advice?
Many don't. I've seen so many in the journey of being a prophet, or being a counselor, or being a pastor. I've seen people that God would tell me specifically that if these two people get married, they're not going to be able to manage themselves. They need to look for each other. In life, we are not meant for everybody.
Absolutely.
There are many people that are supposed to be friends.
Yes.
Not husband and wife.
Yeah.
I've heard people say, marry your friend. But for me, marriage is deeper.
It is.
Than friendship alone.
Yes.
There are couples that divorce, but they are still friends.
Absolutely.
They talk, they don't feel anything. But when it comes to being married together, there are forces that fight those things. Some came from a background that marriage don't work. There are some spiritual forces, and they have not been able to build themselves in the spiritual realm to overcome those forces. I know a couple today, they are already separated. They live in America. When they were in Nigeria, both of them came and said they love each other. They want to get married. People feel at the moment we love each other, we can get married. But it's deeper than love. Marriage, the Bible says, by wisdom a house is built, not by love. By wisdom, a house is built. So when I was praying for them, I saw that both of them came from a background. There are some ancestral forces that will fight them. And I gave them the only thing that will make this marriage successful is when their father and their parents are not involved in their day-to-day running of this marriage. And they said, no, they would do that. But by the time they started the marriage, the guy started bringing his parents. He'll come and spend time. And eventually, the parents influenced the relationship badly. And today, I think they have 3 or 4 children. But right now, they are separated. The last time I spoke with the lady, I said, can't you make a way to... I said, but Daddy, if you know what I've been through, and you want us that time. So most couples, most people that want to get married, that feelings is what they're dragging them into it. And one thing I tell people that when you see someone that you like, ask the maker of that person.
Thank you, sir.
Your daughter is here. Yeah. Her name is Vivian. I like your daughter. I am Victor. And I like Vivian. I don't even know whether there are a couple like that. If you are a couple like that, sorry, it's just for illustration. So, Victor is a son of God. Vivian is a daughter of God. God, I'm your son. I like your daughter. Do you think we are meant for each other? Do you think we have a purpose for each other? God never chooses for anybody. He won't choose for you. Yeah. But it's you that will determine, because the Bible says, whosoever findeth a wife. So the finding is my own prerogative. It's my own. I'm the one that will find. Sure. God has given me all the wisdom to find. Holy Spirit has been there. Counselor has been there to guide me. But it's not going to find for me.
No.
It's my job to find a wife or find a husband, find me as a girl. So as he's finding, I'll be asking Holy Spirit to guide me. If something is missing in this room, I might need to put on light to guide me where it is. And it's my job to find. So if you are watching this broadcast today or this podcast right now and you are single and you are confused, I want to recommend to you that you need a counselor. Mm-hmm. You need someone to talk to you. And I will encourage you to marry by prophecy. I won't encourage you to marry by prophecy. I will want you to marry by asking God yourself. And until you are satisfied, don't go ahead. I mean, I can be a friend to a lady from friendship when I'm sure we can start dating. I mean, for me to start dating, I'm engaging her that I like, we are looking at each other like we can marry. Then there are so many questions to ask from each other. Then we'll know whether we are compatible. Whether the way you are raised is going to work with the way I'm raised. I remember when I first got married, I was raised in a mission house. And in my dad's house, we can have like 15 children coming from the church to stay overnight. My mom would cook for them. So when I got married, whenever I see a member of the church, I just say, hey, you come to the house, come and stay. And I would tell my wife. And when she saw them, she said, what are people doing here? I said, they are here to stay. And I said, but I didn't know. I said, so you want me to take permission from you? The African man. Honestly, she was enduring it. But one day, with wisdom, she approached me and said, don't you think if you will tell me they are coming, I will prepare better for them? Oh, I said, I didn't know that what you mean. I was very proud. I say, African man. I mean, and since that time, I started understanding. Yeah. So when people say, evangelist, can I come to your house? I say, well, I will get back to you. I will ask myself, do we have things to give them when they come? I said, they're learning. So if you are watching this broadcast today, you can learn.
Fantastic. And something else that, in my experience, people need to understand that when they make a choice of marriage, when things go wrong, they always say, what God joined together. God, you joined together in the presence of God.
Yeah.
But God did not join you together.
Of course.
So
of course.
That's it. Thank you so much. Yeah. I've really got some great answers to my questions.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Right there, you have really learned some things today. And I will encourage you to like, comment, and share the link for this podcast. Someone somewhere need to understand about hearing the voice of God and taking decision of life. We're going to be wrapping up today, and I believe that we're going to come back some other time. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.
Unfiltered.